Welcome to the University of Salford space at the Digital City Festival. We've been going live all day on Facebook and on YouTube, bringing conversations with digital innovators, experts, friends, family, all about everything digital. And we have Naomi Timperley, who is no exception, friend, family, to the
I
university.
think I would class myself as family.
I think
Salford,
so too.
definitely.
Because you've worked with us for a number of years
yes,
now,
I
right?
have since about 2008.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you're here at the festival for the 2 days?
Yes, I'm here for 2 days. I'm doing a talk tomorrow. I'm doing a round table, and I'm having a lovely conversation with you here now.
Talk and a round table. What are they
Yeah.
both about? Are they different things?
So the round table is around innovation. That's with Capita. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking about human-centered design.
Fantastic, great.
And about how we need people to be part of innovation.
And we're getting towards the end of the first day now.
Yeah.
It's getting on. What have been the highlights for you so far? Who have you met? What have you talked about?
Lots of things. I've seen lots of people that I haven't seen for a while. Some of the stands have been fantastic. I've just spent an hour in the community village, which is just by the foyer, and they have some amazing cybersecurity experts in there. So I've learnt lots and lots about how to hack, which was really interesting.
That does sound... I've not even seen the village.
Well, the little village, honestly, you need to go and have a look at it. It's right near Cobden. There's loads of really interesting people in there. They've just got some digital cybersecurity experts talking to people about things that they really should know. And the main thing that I got from that talk was actually when it comes to developing applications, security is always almost an afterthought, and that needs to be part of the process of building the apps.
And what I love about this festival expo is it's all free. You can come along to this no matter who you are. And so many of these sorts of exhibition spaces are part of events where you have to pay a big amount of money to actually get through the door. And there's so many companies innovating here that it's a really exciting space to be in.
It's fantastic. Obviously, we've got, there's the whole week. Digital City Festival is a whole week. Obviously, today and tomorrow is at Manchester Central. But there's lots and lots of other things going on for the rest of the week, some fringe events. So if you haven't taken part already, you should really come down here.
Definitely. Yesterday was my big day. I had an event on esports that was led by Maria Stukov, who's at the university.
Yep.
I went to also a Manchester and India partnerships meeting as well, which was fascinating. I learned more about my university by being there, which was helpful too.
Well, do you know what? Every time I go to Salford, so I'm chair of the Industry Advisory Board for the Business School, every time I go to Salford, I learn more about it. And you do incredible things. You don't talk about them, though.
We try to. We set up the studio.
Well, you do. But you know what? You need bragging rights. If you were a brownie, you'd have more badges than all the other brownies.
That's good to hear.
It's a good analogy, isn't it?
It is a great analogy. Well, that's partly why we're very keen to be part of this space. And I think what I'm personally really pleased about is the fact that we've got every school in the university as part of this space.
Which is amazing.
Because usually with events like this, we have one school or one unit or one research centre present. And it's not a simple process to get everyone behind it, but it's a great one.
But I suppose if you think about tech, digital, whatever you want to call it, that interacts with every school within the university.
It does, and my school is the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, which is a new amalgamation of 3 other schools. And I'm learning things about the university that I didn't know, history, because I've only been there 5 years.
Yeah.
And you speak to people that have been there 25 years and you learn about how much digital innovation there's been.
Well, I remember going around the engineering school and seeing all the stuff that you've got to play with. So I know a lot of engineering students go to other universities and they'll come to Salford because you have toys that you can play with. Like big ones, like jet engine things and, parts and just so much stuff where I think the biggest thing for me about Salford is that there's a real sort of real life learning element to everything that you do.
I think so. That's always been, I think, our reputation, which is, again, something you learn very quickly when you join. But also, I think there's a culture of experimentation so that people are quite willing to explore new kit or new technology to see what we can do with it. And often break it as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think, again, one thing that I would like to, and I talk about this all the time, is the fact that any business here can interact with their local university in many ways.
Yeah, I think you're right. And there's so much change happening around Salford in particular, but Greater Manchester itself as well. So our premises in Media City is part of an environment that's just, I think, characterized by change. I mean, that whole place is just constantly going through restructuring, new buildings going up, new organizations coming in. It's an exciting place to be in.
It is, it is.
Yeah.
So shall I tell you about my new job?
I was about to ask you. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
So I do a number of things, but I've now taken an amazing role as head of growth programs for a law firm called Rradar. Now, Rradar, and unlike any law firm that I've come across, they actually have a lot of digital solutions for their clients and customers. And the end users that use them are predominantly SMEs, but they work with lots of insurance companies. The growth program that I'm going to be part of is something called the Elite Rradar Lounge. That is a partnership between Rradar and the London Stock Exchange's scale-up program called Elite. The core delivery is still going to be London, but there's going to be a regional offering of about 6 modules that will be delivered regionally. A lot of that around law, risk management, and insurance.
Sounds great.
It's right up my street.
And where are you based then?
So it's a remote role.
Yeah.
As you're aware, I'm based in Manchester. Radar's head office is in Hull, but they also have offices in Leeds, Glasgow, Birmingham, and soon to be Manchester.
So you're going to be all over the place.
I am all over, but it's been amazing. They are a really fantastic company to work for. And it's the great thing is that they see the value in the work that I still continue to do to support Salford.
So what are some of their key priorities for your role then in terms of aspirations and goals?
So we are going to be launching the Elite Rradar Lounge in Yorkshire and Humberside and the North West this year. We're hoping to get 15 to 20 per cohort. And then it will be Glasgow, then Birmingham the following year. And the programme is for 24 months. It's for scale-up companies turning over minimum 2 to 5 million, growing year-on-year 30% growth that want to scale. And it's a 24-month programme that up to 3 of the directors can go on. And obviously it has the pedigree of the London Stock Exchange as well to back it up.
Sounds amazing. So they come to a physical sort of place to
it's a lot
training.
of it's delivered at the London Stock Exchange.
Okay.
So that's what the core modules are, and some of them on the elite partners, and then the local delivery will be done on our partners' sites as well as Radar's site head office in Hull.
So how did they manage to snag you? What interested you particularly?
Well, do you know
about
what? I met Gary Gallen, who's a CEO. He's one of the most incredible men that I've ever met, apart from my husband, obviously, and you. I actually met him in this very place at an event in 2016 called Business Rocks. And that's where myself and Volker Hirsch launched Tech North Advocates.
Okay.
Tech North Advocates is a private sector-led advocacy that champions tech in the North, but it's part of something that's global. So globally, there's about 10,500 people that support tech. And I met Gary here when we launched, and he has a situation where they're seen as a law firm, but they're also seen as a tech firm. And I very much sort of supported him engaging with the tech sector to be recognised as a tech business as well.
Okay, that's really an interesting crossover.
Yes, it is.
I don't know whether we will find ourselves in a future where lawyers are replaced by AI machines, or whether...
Well, the great thing is about this solutions that they have are preventative solutions. So people won't need to use lawyers. Yeah. Obviously, the lawyers can come if they are needed, but that's quite an unusual situation because obviously, financially, lawyers want to have clients, but this is a solution that will give, it's like one of their solutions is an AI platform called Grace, which is desktop and an app. And you can ask Grace anything to do with your business, with regards to HR, insurance and that kind of thing, and it will give you the answers. If it can't help you, it will direct you to a human being.
That sounds amazing.
And obviously the more and more people that use it, the more intelligent the application gets.
So that's giving you information about sort of legislation around HR, whatever it might be. Wow.
Yeah, HR, anything to do with health and safety, anything that really sort of relating to things that you would be insured for. And it becomes more and more intelligent.
I mean, there's so much happening around AI at the moment. I know that we're building new courses that are across all different sectors, not just health or computing generally, but actually game development as well. It's just exploding.
Well, again, that's another thing that I like about Salford. Even, I would say, and this word gets thrown around a lot, but I would say you were the most agile university that I've come across, because you are very much bothered and about what happens to the student when they leave, and you want them to be as employable as possible. And I think that's really important where, with regards to the industry advisory board that Salford, the business school, has. We've handpicked the best people that represent industry within Greater Manchester, and those industries across every stream, because we want to make sure that the courses that your students have will make them job ready, because ultimately that's the most important thing. Yeah,
and that's partly why it's so great to be at the Digital City Festival Expo, because there are so many people that want to do hands-on work with us and get really active in developing either products, services, or just things that we can kind of experiment with.
And again, another thing that I know that you mentioned Maria Stukov before. She's a doctor. She's got 2 doctorates, actually. How many have you got?
Just the one.
Just the one. So Maria runs the Mawson Makerspace at the University of Salford, which actually, if you get in touch with the university, is accessible for anybody. And they have really, really good toys that you can play with, that you can make stuff.
And Maria will be with us tomorrow
at
good to 2:30. I think we're going to do a conversation with her, because I think that's a big part of it. Making part of our university education is such a big part of what we want to do at Salford.
Well, certainly the talk that I'm doing tomorrow is about, trying things, failing fast, trying it again. But also, I mentioned before, and I know an organisation in Manchester that do a lot of this around human-centred design. So I also am interim chair for an arts organisation called Future Everything.
Oh, great.
Now, when I say arts, they create artistic solutions with tech and digital. And they do the most incredible things all over the world. They've been going for about 25 years. So it's really, really fantastic to see an arts organisation embracing tech and digital as well.
It is, and I think I've been in the Northwest for over 14 years now, and I think what's really excited me is that crossover between art, technology, research, and one of the earliest things I got involved with was FACT in Liverpool, the Foundation for Art and Creative Technology, which many of the people that work for Future Everything have come out of, and it does feel like there's a willing community of people that want to traverse their sector and work in new areas, and that's really exciting.
So let me ask you a question. So I've done a lot of stuff around young people and digital and tech skills. I was very lucky to work on a program that GMCA ran called Go Digital, which is still running for years 7 and 8. And I did that with a company called Digital Advantage, Hive, and Innovate Her. So the last 18 months, up until January, I did 50 assemblies at schools across Greater Manchester.
Wow.
And this was encouraging kids to think about the tech sector, not just all about coding, but actually the World Economic Forum has recognised that creative problem-solving skills are the most important skill that a young person can have. So my question to you is, based on, sorry, I'm interviewing him now, based on the courses that you look after, how could you get more young people interested in coming to Salford?
Wow, well, I guess what we try to do is to be part of public events. So a lot of our partnerships are with the cultural sector, working with organisations like Abandoned Normal Devices, the Science and Industry Museum, Home in Manchester. So a lot of our programs of work are focused around those places where young people will go to them. And we're sort of very conscious of the fact that universities historically have been quite closed environments and have been trying to slowly change that so that it feels like a place where not only the public can come to the university, but actually get children into the spaces as well. And we have real challenges to actually make our environments open to children because of health and safety and so on. But I think what's happening with universities generally is a renegotiation of their place in the community. So, for example, we're talking to Salford Council about working with a new leisure centre to set up an e-sports zone.
Oh, wow.
Where we hopefully would encourage children to come and be physically active in exchange for some gaming time.
Yeah, of course.
And they're really excited about that.
But it's also, so one of the things that we used to talk about in the assembly, so I know these assemblies like off by heart, was about the different styles of communications. And we used to talk about this thing called IMA, which is identify, modify and adapt. And we all communicate in different styles, but also about the fact that the tech and digital sector needs creative people. It needs people that are good at communicating. It needs, obviously, the coders and people with logical brains, but it also needs people that can bring people together. So you need those people that can bring teams together and communicate things as well.
Yeah, I think it's so important, which is why we feel, certainly in a school of science, we need to collaborate with arts and media. We need to collaborate with health, with business, to make sure we benefit from all those different skill sets that people have, which, you know, we'd love to believe that everyone can do everything, but actually not the case.
And I would also say, with regards to the business school, that the business school is definitely at the centre, the epicentre, because actually that connects all of the schools together.
Very much so. And I think that's where, again, it's so valuable to have business involved with this delivery, because we're here amongst hundreds of businesses that are trying to work with institutions.
So my daughter last week came to Manchester Central for the UCAS exhibition, and I was really delighted that she came home and she talked about all the universities that she'd met, and she spoke about Salford. And she said, Mummy, she said, literally, they made everything sound really interesting, and it's a university that I would like to consider. And I literally, it made my heart very warm.
That seems like a very good place to end the conversation. Yes. That's great to hear. And well, thanks for joining us.
It was an absolute
for this
pleasure.
Session. We look forward to, what time are your sessions tomorrow?
I am doing a talk at 2:00.
2:00, great.
Yes.
Hope it goes well. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Andy.
Thanks a lot. We're signing off now.